Talk about a tale of two halves. You're watching the UConn women take on Tennessee. First half, probably got you a little nervous. Second half, UConn really showed what they're all about. You're on the Hoops Cap. Let's talk about it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.
Welcome into the Hoops Cap Pod. I am your host, Mark Snetto. Let's get all of this stuff off the screen. Sorry to not be ready for you. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're all just relaxing. I'm just shoveled some snow, got some pizza ready as I was watching the UConn women dominate Tennessee. Really a tale of two halves. You know, the first half was super competitive. This is a team, Tennessee, that's 15th in the country, came in with some pretty high expectations in terms of they're 6-1 in the SEC. They haven't ducked anybody. They're playing in the best conference in the country, or one of the, and they get a lot of tough games throughout the year. And this was one that we scheduled because of the history of Tennessee UConn. This Tennessee team is super athletic. They absolutely sped UConn up in the first half. But listen, I'm just really happy you guys are on a Sunday. Whoever's listening, I don't even look at the numbers right now on the Big East Energy Network. Check out our new website, BigEastEnergyNetwork.com. This is one of the few women's live reaction shows I do because they don't play a ton of quality opponents during the season other than the non-Big East folks. And so when they play these big games, I want to come on here and kind of give my thoughts. So the Huskies improved to 23-0 on the season. They get the revenge for last year's loss in Knoxville. And they remind everyone watching exactly why they're the number one team in the country. And I think that's kind of what made me excited about this game is, you've had a bunch of people, talk about how, the women don't play anybody and there's going to be, issues when they play tougher players. But it's every year this happens. And I think every year the same people get proven wrong. So the UConn women, after it being tied, held the Lady Vols to 29% shooting in the second half, and it slowed down after the Vols pressure sped them up a bit. But let's start and look at that first half. Tennessee comes out into People's Bank Arena ready to play. Talasia Cooper was great. Z Spearman working inside. Janaea Barker was attacking. And then the second quarter, Tennessee actually outscored UConn 23-17, the only quarter they did outscore them. And you're sitting there thinking, I'm sitting there putting together this pizza oven with my wife because we're about to make some Connecticut beets later. I got dough from New Haven. I got dough from New Jersey. So if you're watching this from those areas, I was not messing around. I literally had the stuff shipped to the house because we got this great new pizza oven, and we're putting that together. We're watching this game. My wife is from Tennessee and not necessarily a big Tennessee Vols basketball fan, more of a football fan. And so, yeah, it was just fun. And we were like, wow, this is going to be a good game. Then I'm thinking, wow, is this going to be like one of those losses last year where I'm going to come on and people are going to say that the sky is falling? And then the second half hit, and that 29% shooting in the second half hit because of UConn's stifling defense. They came out of the locker room like their hair was on fire. I heard a broadcaster at the end of the game say there might have been some expletives that Geno was throwing their way at halftime that might have enticed them to, play a little harder. Play with a little more intensity. They win that third quarter 29-11, and then the fourth quarter 25-13. So that's a 54-24 second half. And by the way, if you bet the game, they covered. I didn't think they were going to. I had some free money from earlier in the week that I won on a tennis match with Novak Djokovic, and I just said, what the hell? Let's put it on. I don't think they're going to cover the big spread, but here we are. Tennessee had 20 turnovers, 32% overall from three, 38 from the field, 32 from three. UConn was suffocating all day. KK Arnold without Blanca Quinones. That to me is what's even more impressive about this. If Blanca Quinones plays, good luck getting the ball past half court if you're Tennessee. They have, just like the men, the championship DNA is there, and these are the actual defending national champions, not just the culture of the team. So my player of the game, you could go Sarah or AZ, but I'm going to go AZ. She had 27 points, 7 assists. She was 11 of 17 from the field, including 5 of 9 from 3. AZ Fudd has been kind of called like a specialist. She is an all-around player now. She's absolutely lethal. She's confident. She's great from the mid-range. Her pull-up has gotten so much better. Her ball handling skills have gotten better. And when she's hitting from all three levels, there's not a defender in the country who could stop her right now. And she's making a case where she's going to be the number one pick in the draft. She just is. And absolutely love that she's actually becoming more of a playmaker versus just a shooter. So I love it. 7 assists. Come on. It's just like the next evolution of her game. That's the complete package. She's a national player of the year caliber performance. And it's one of the reasons why I feel like her and Sarah could like get co-national players of the year. Like they're that good. So supporting cast, phenomenal. Sarah grabbed 24 points, 9 rebounds, made some incredibly key buckets. Ashlyn Shade was hitting from 3. Sarah Williams looked pretty good tonight. Kaylee Heckle's been, creating timely defensive plays. She was driving to the hoop, building that momentum. Allie Zabel, fresh off of a 30-point performance, was really good off the bench. I think she had 9 or 10 points. I just feel like with all of these weapons, and then they didn't even have probably their best defensive player, not named KK Arnold, and they win by 30. So, but like the announcer said on the post game or on the game, the Tennessee should not be worried about this game in particular. Like it was really just a perfect storm down the stretch. This team is definitely back. I think it's not the same as it was when it was the Pat Summitt versus Geno Auriemma show. Pardon me, but we're just in a really good spot. I think with the rivalry being what it is. Hey, for real, that's honestly, man, like I've been called that a bunch of times, but I appreciate that. Let's see what else we got up here. I'm going back to the chat. Tennessee size and athleticism is difficult. It was, and UConn dominated them. So what does that tell you? Let's see. Yeah, I get the Segura stuff sometimes. I've seen them live a few times. I have a fun story about that. I actually randomly, this is way back. I'm not even going to tell the story. Let's just say I met him. Great guy. Yeah, they were tested for a half. Who's this, Morgan? Yeah, Morgan. They absolutely were tested for the half. Loved it. Yeah. I love that Jana's being pushed by Sarah and vice versa, because this team has 1,000%, just two at every position at least. So that's just a natural thing, a natural progression. Yeah, is that good, Steven? 58 from 2 and 50% from 3. I'd say that's pretty good, huh? But everyone wants to focus on how they're not playing anybody in the Big East. Well, they're also kicking the shit out of everybody in the Big East. It's not like they're like, skating by. The general sports fans tune in when they say Tennessee was up at the half, hoping to see UConn lose. They weren't up at the half; it was tied. People do pay attention; they check the scores on their phones and tune in when it's close. Yeah, I get that, but it also is just kind of like one of those things where I wouldn't even call them general. That's a casual sports fan. That's not a general sports fan. Would be a fan that like actually is paying attention, and they're not a fanatic like most of us. But if you're just like a casual sports fan and you go, oh, it's 42 all, I'm going to check out what this game is, and then you turn it on, and then UConn is up by 20. Like, all right, well, I guess they're pretty good. So it's silly. It's a silly argument when you start talking about you're not playing anybody when Geno has won 12 national championships and they've been doing this for years. And then even in the years that they haven't won it all, they've been in the Final Four. I think it's only one year against Mississippi State where they lost in the Sweet 16. So it's like he's been to like the last 20 something Final Fours. I forget what the stat is. I have to look it up. I think it's like 22 or something like that straight Final Fours. So it's like it's beyond just winning the national championship. They're always there at the end. Whether they win it or not is another story. And I have a very strong feeling that they're going to win it all again this year, and they're going to go undefeated. So let's see. I actually got this is from FAF 8609. I actually got to take my daughter to the last UConn versus Tennessee game in 2022. The rivalry brings great energy to both. Yeah. There we go. Every Final Four, but the Ohio State Elite 8 loss. But yeah, there was a Mississippi State. Wasn't there a Mississippi State Sweet 16 loss too in there somewhere? Check that. What is this? So put us in a power conference. Then if we have no competition in the Big East, you can't have it both ways. What do you mean? Like, is it UConn's fault that the conference has started to disintegrate, or is it so they have to figure out a difference? Why? Do you think that if South Carolina's competition in the SEC just all of a sudden fell back, they would look to move to another conference, or they would just do what they do, which is schedule not out of conference games? That is the most ridiculous comment that I've seen on this stream, which says a lot. This is not about UConn. First off, if they move to another conference, okay, fine. I'm talking about people who complain at our score. Yeah, and here's the thing. If we move to let's just, because I had this argument or this conversation on a Spaces. So sorry, Womp. Not trying to come at you, but it gets me fired up, because if we go to the Big 12, let's just use that as an example. The travel alone and the ability to go see UConn on the men's and women's side would be infinitely more expensive and more difficult for the average fan. I get media passes, guys. If I want to go watch the UConn women play, I just ask for it, and then I get to go and I get to critique the game and everything like that. That's free outside of the travel. But if you go, you have to pay for tickets. You got to find a place to stay. You got to do all this different stuff. And if you're local to Connecticut, which is awesome, I'm jealous, you still have to pay for gas, like all this different stuff. It's like it's not an issue for people like me who are in the media and who are doing this for a living. But for the people that just want to go watch the UConn women play in stores or in Hartford, and now they got to go play in Ames, Iowa, and Iowa City, or you got to go play in Houston, Texas to play the Cougars, or you got to go play Cincinnati and Cincinnati. Like, are you flying there to go watch the women play them? I don't think so. Maybe once a year. I think you lose a lot of the casual fan. So I do think they have to put that up against, is it worth putting our football team in a larger conference? Does it take away from the regionality of what UConn has created in Connecticut and in New England area? So that's a story for another day. But yeah, this isn't going to be a long stream, guys, because I got pizza to make. And I love doing these for about 20 minutes and just going. I did 20 minutes last night, and then I had a guest jump on for 10. And so it actually ended up going to 30. But if anyone wants to come on and talk about the game, feel free. I'll put the link in the chat. You don't have to show your face. You can turn your camera off. Very similar to a radio show. All you have to do is click the link, and then it'll give you instructions to join. This is my first live stream of the year for the women, so on the Big East Energy Network. So, yeah, I mean, feel free to come on and check it out. What else? I loved the chemistry of AZ understanding that she is, like we talked about in the open, that she is absolutely the new playmaker. She is not just having other people set her up. She is 1000% the alpha in the room. And I love Sarah. Sarah's going to have 2 years by herself to be that player. And then she's going to have reinforcements with Vukosa, and Blanca's going to be there again. And, Kaylee and KK will be there for one more year. How about Ali Zabel being, am I crazy? Ali Zabel, her shooting form reminds me of AZ's, not as clean, not as compact yet, but that kind of side cart, just that beautiful stroke. And I think she could be as effective as AZ as a shooter. I think people sometimes go, why don't you talk about Allie more? Well, she hadn't been playing until recently, and she wasn't playing big minutes. Now she is. And I've been excited for Allie since I heard about her offensive prowess in Wisconsin. So yeah, it's not a thing about not wanting to talk about her. It's like, you don't talk about players that don't play. And, last year she didn't play and Morgan did. And now with Morgan being hurt and Allie being, kind of front and center, it's like this team has so many players that I'd love to talk about that just aren't getting the run that they probably would if they were other places. So absolutely. Allie and K9. I think Kaylee K9 should be kind of like unleashed in a way that is different than what she's doing right now, which is like in the tournament, if I'm Geno or if I'm CD or Jamel, I'm saying to her, like, don't worry about falling out. Just create havoc and just disrupt the game. The same way KK did last year. KK is a little more important than that last year than last year's team, because she needs to run points. She needs to stay out there. You don't have the Caitlin Chen to kind of check that. But man, I would just unleash K9, so to speak, and let her nickname kind of do itself some justice. But that's my take on that. But if no one wants to come on, I may jump off because this has been, I mean, I love doing these, but there's not much you can say about this game other than it was just like, it was really tight at the beginning. But now if you look ahead, you know, they're going to stay perfect in the Big East, you know, barring some incredible play by I don't think DePaul is going to be the one to do it, but they play DePaul next on Wednesday. Geno doesn't overlook anyone. All this team stayed fresh. Nobody played any crazy minutes. You know, is it the South Carolina? Is it Oklahoma? Is it Texas? Is it UCLA that's going to challenge them in the tournament? We'll see. I'd love to play a game with the UConn women's fans where if you go to my site, if you go on the YouTube channel right now, and I may put a community post up where you can kind of pick which team are you most concerned of. I'm not as concerned with South Carolina as maybe some are. The two teams that I'm most concerned about playing this year are Texas, or I should say three, UCLA and Oklahoma. And you could probably throw Michigan in there because of the game they gave us, because of the shooting. South Carolina can't shoot. If you can't shoot against UConn, you can't beat them because the defense, if you get into a defensive battle, UConn's going to win that game every single time. If you can hang with them offensively and you're decent on defense, you got a chance. South Carolina has no shot against UConn. So, clip this, put it on a poster. I don't care. Yeah, Blanca was missing and we won by 30. It's wild. It just is. But that's going to be a poll that I'll put up on Big East Energy Network on the YouTube side. Maybe we'll put it up on the new website. Check out the new website. It's beautiful. We're having a great time putting it together. It's live right now. You can absolutely look at everything going on right now there. It's BigEastEnergyNetwork.com. Which school has the best chance at dual chips? No one is close to UConn. This is the case, which seemingly every year. Yeah, Michigan or Vandy, but Vandy got whacked by South Carolina. Michigan probably has the best chance because I think the men are going to be there in the Final Four. And it wouldn't surprise me if the women are there in the Final Four. So, I mean, think about a couple years ago when the men won and the women didn't. We were both in the Final Four, and NC State was too. The NC State women and the NC State men were in the Final Four as well. So it's definitely possible. We're the only team to have ever done it, and I think that stays that way this year because I actually think there's a chance that we could win both. Let's see. LSU's high scoring could pose problems if they meet. Yeah, I mean, listen, any team that can shoot at a high clip is a kind of a scary team, but also I think UConn's defense is a little too much for LSU. They're not there yet. They're close. Like I think next year that team's going to give some people some fits. I don't believe in Mulkey's team this year. Just my opinion. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. If you got snow in Connecticut, I hope you got your shovel ready. I got a foot of snow here in Greensboro, North Carolina that I'm going to finish shoveling and go make some New Haven style of beats and get after it. Maybe I'll post some pictures of the pizza and you guys can critique it. See you next time on the Hoops Guy. Sponsored by Home Field Apparel. Check it out.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah. UConn.